Hello, my friends, and welcome to match number 2 of our doubleheader this beautiful Saturday evening here in the Console Overwatch multi-tier tournament. This matchup is a Tier 2 matchup between Valor, Glory, and Experienced Dankquility. Experienced Dankquility coming in 0-3, looking to get their season really started here today, see if they can bounce back after a rough first 3 weeks. Then Valor, Glory coming in 1-2, looking to prove themselves here, try to rise up against the middle of the pack, where they seem to have found themselves here about a third of the way through the season. My name's Bullskunk alongside Chef Billy. And Billy, I'm going to start this off with some important questions here, posing you the deepest of thoughts. What kind of tissue can you sleep on? A napkin.
I don't know.
So, when you get hit by those sleep darts, just look for your nearest napkin to take a nap on. All right. And that was courtesy of B-Bums there in chat, and that's how we like to start things off here today. Billy, what do you make of these two teams as we're heading into this Week 4 matchup?
My brain just turned to jello. All right. So we've actually seen both these teams in prior casts.
Yes, sir.
So Valor Glory has the potential to actually rise up beyond the middle of the pack and really explode into the second half of the season here. Hollow Earth and L Daddy Heart, two big players for them that they are looking forward to fragging out with.
Yeah, two of the DPS there on the side of Valor.
Mm-hmm. On the other side, you're looking at Sibzor. We've called his name quite a few times through the cast that we've seen him, and we haven't seen him actually pop off, though. So I don't know if it's still the adjustment period to the season, or if he's just being hard countered. This may be his week, though. We don't know with the maps and the hero bans that we have for this week. And that being said, our hero bans for this week are Zarya, Pharah, Symmetra, and Lucio. Lucio being the biggest impactful ban of this season so far, or of this week so far. The teams are struggling without the Brazilian in there. And as I alluded to, we have a 5-map set going through Oasis as we are starting out there, going to Numbani next, and then Volskaya. Route 66 will actually end us up unless we go to a map 5, which will be Lijiang Tower. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get us into this. As we look at it, I'm looking to see Sibzor play up to the potential that a lot of people said that they saw in scrims with him. Also, his own team, of course, are going to, buoy him up. But I've actually, heard a couple people say that he's popped off in scrims. So bring it to the big match. Bring it to the stage here. I just want to see him really engage with this. And on the other side, I looked at the DPS line, Hollow Earth, their captain for Valor Gaming, hoping to take a page out of their Big Brother's book and get a W on the board this week, as Valor Prestige put the smack down last night and just clean clock. So they're hoping to kind of mirror what their Big Brothers and their organization did last night, or was it Thursday? I think it's either last night or Thursday, but we're going to see what they got coming out.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, right out of the gate here, looks like we're going to get a little Tracer May on the side of Experienced Dankquility, coming out with the Reinhardt Hog. Very interesting tank combination. And then bringing the Brig and the Mercy to keep the team alive and standing. We're also going to get the Brigida on the other side with a Moira to help keep this Reinhardt Diva tank line alive, as it does look like Valor is just going to go ahead and take the high ground right out of the gate. See if they can get Daddy Heart up on this railing. Find some clean shots. Rain down. Perhaps find an early pick. They're going to go ahead and drop down. Finds the Tracer immediately. Nice stun, fan the hammer combo. Give them a one-man advantage here in the opening engagement of this Tier 2 matchup. Now turning their attention over to the front line. You can see the shield cracking and breaking there for Jokabones on the side of Dankquility. Oh, and he is whittled down to about a third of his health as healers desperately trying to keep him alive. A little bit of aggression coming through on the side of Valor. Jokabones is going to go down as Clothar and Daddy Heart combine for a good kill. Removing the Reinhardt and opening the room for them to get this percentage started for us here on Oasis.
I mean, that's a good high-low contest of the point. Hollow Earth is just sitting up here uncontested on this high ground. He's got Evil Senpai as basically his guard, using that DM to massive effect. And also El Daddy Heart is winning the duel with Sibzor on this Tracer.
Tracer now going in deep, running right into the mouth of the Lion, forced to back out of there, not quite finding what he was looking for. The rest of Experienced Dankquility heading back up to that high ground. Got to make sure that's cleaned off. Can't give Hollow and Daddy Earth room to work. Otherwise, they are going to have a rough time indeed. Zor's recall forced out. The rest of the team are dropping down to try to duel on the front line. Earthshatter online here for Jokobos. He's going to go and throw it down. It finds 4, but he gives his life in the process. Rez comes through, but meanwhile, Sibzor able to drop that pulse bomb down. People cannot stand up fast enough. And kills lighten up here for Dankquility. They'll get this thing flipped after a little bit of cleanup.
Yeah, absolutely. That was amazing work from Sibzor. As I spoke his name in the pregame, he absolutely showed up, getting also a very good late stagger kill onto Evil Senpai. So now they've got progress going in their direction now as Valor Glory gets 58.6% on the board. Now, they basically used Shatter and they used the Pulse Bomb. Went on a little back flank and took out quite a few members of Valor Glory there. So now we get to see what kind of defense they show here.
Valor coming back with an Earthshatter of their own. They're going to throw that out, turns and left takes down the people who were not shielded. But no follow-through coming through. Clothar does actually drop, sacrificing himself in the process. Whole Hog coming out on the side of Dankquility as well. They managed to use those ultimates and clean up. Blizzard thrown in. And they're holding on here with 41% and counting on the board for Experienced Dankquility.
Yeah, and Frenchie actually threw in the rally as well. So I think Whole Hog, Blizzard, and Rally came out from Experienced Dankquility. Good stuff showing from them here. This is a much better showing than we saw from them in the previous match that we had from them. So I'm really impressed to see what they're doing right now.
Coalescence coming out from Valor as they look to press back in. Their their rally coming out at the same time. You still have the Tracer back there. Sibzor with his Pulse Bomb in his pocket, trying to harass that backline. So far, they're able to keep him in check. He's got a McCree and a Brig. He's got to watch out for on that Tracer. Now, Diva Bomb coming in from Dankquility. Excuse me, that was from Valor, and Dankquility's Mercy goes down. Jokabone's down as well. No heals, no shield. Left standing for them. Earthshatter coming through. That finds two, and it's going to be Clothar fighting through the freeze, finds those kills. And it will be Valor getting this thing flipped right back over, but not before Dankquility can get 87% on the board.
Yep, you invested your self-destruct, you invested your Earthshatter in that fight, and they got pretty good value for both of them, taking out the Mercy very early. So now, on the side of Experienced Dankquility, you've got almost a 4-pack going, but that's a quick pick on the Frenchie Who by Evil Senpai.
Yeah, Clothar getting hooked in. He's able to get his shield up in time, but does not get his shield up in time to block that massive 5-man shatter. Scrimbuck's coming through with a nice shield bash, trying to deny the follow-up onto that huge ultimate. Hollow Earth dropped himself a tire in as well. One picked up with that. Coalescence thrown into the mix. Now Scrimbuck's, though, caught on the wrong side of the pillar. Is going to go down. Freeze now following up onto Evil on that Diva. Blizzard coming out from the side of Dankquility. It is just an absolute extravaganza coming onto the point. Overtime Wick is a burden. We're in final fight territory here as we're at 99-87 on the board. Dankquility will get this thing flipped, and there'll be about a little over 10 seconds for Valor to get back and see if they can continue this fight.
Early Pulse Bomb coming out from Sibzor. I thought you would have held that in your hand, but already getting up back into the capture progress, but you have a Shatter online for Clothar. Oh my goodness, Experienced Dankquility gets their first map of the season against Valor Glory. Big moves.
Just first round. Just first round.
Yeah. Yeah, it's their first
start. It's a good start.
It's a good start. I'm liking it.
Some great kills at the end. Shut down. Scrimbucks on the Brig and Hollow Earth, who are both trying to come back in and stall. Good heads-up play coming in on the very end of that. Psychotic with the good hook, able to deny any contest. It does allow them to take the 1-0 lead here on Oasis, but not out of hot water yet.
No, indeed. And now it looks like Evil Senpai is going to bring out the double shield, going with Ryan Sigma here to aggress here in University. Also, Hollow Earth bringing out the Swede.
Indeed, we are getting a
Interesting.
Torbjorn. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The Ryan Sigma combination, we saw this used earlier this evening with mixed results. We're getting the Ryan Hog there on the other side in lieu of the Zarya being banned this week. Does look like Dankquility taking the high ground. But this time they have the May Tracer up here, so there's not a whole lot of characters able to take advantage of this angle. And I think they need to try to press this attack, otherwise they're just giving up free space. Indeed, Valor coming up with capture percentage with just no contest coming through from the other side. Dankquility still content to just sit up on the high ground and poke and prod.
Are they trying to get Sibzor into position? That's the first thing that I want to ask is, are they trying to get him to position to do something? Looks like they did do that, and he has done that, and he's also gone down to Evil Senpai, taking a rock and a flashbang to the face.
Yeah, perhaps waiting for a position to use that May wall, but the May wall not able to quite divide and conquer as you might hope. And Valor are lighting up the feed. Daddy Heart coming through with 2 big picks, finds both tanks in that engagement. And when Dankquility finally did decide to drop down, they just ran into nothing but death. 35% on the board and counting here for Valor.
Now, looking at the DPS ultimates coming into this next fight, you have Molten Core, you have Shatter, you have Gravitic Flux. You almost have all 6, except for Scrimbucks popping that rally early in the engagement. But you also have the Deadeye from Daddy Heart. So, Sibzor swapping off the Tracer, going to the Bastion here. Kind of a head scratch. You would want to have an Orisa, I think, with that, but we'll see.
Yeah, this is, the composition doesn't seem to have a whole lot of synergy. You know, perhaps they're going for some comfort picks. We'll see if they can make it work. They're trying to get the Bastion set up here in the small hallway, but here comes the Earth Shatter. Finds 4! Falling under the weight of that, and then the Torbjorn Molten Core thrown into the pack as they lie helpless, prone on their backs. And that is going to be a big wombo combo coming through for Valor.
Daddy Heart also throwing in the Deadeye, so that is all both DPS ultimates coming out from Valor Glory. So maybe keeping one in the tank. I think they're BMing him right now. Hollow Earth just destroying Sibzor on this Bastion, gets the res out, but I think the damage has been done so far.
Blizzard coming out on the side of Dankquility as they look to try to push back in here, get things started on University. They've got the Reinhardt caught out. He was pushed up into the ceiling with the whole hog, and the rest of the team able to follow up. Meanwhile, on the front line, Jokobone's able to hold off the other team. They do get that kill onto Hollow Earth as well, so Sibzor finding a little bit of room to work. Oh, but gets caught out. Pushes in front of his tanks just a little too far. The Earthshatter coming out on the other side, but it's not enough to save the Bastion. And the question now is, can they get Evil Senpai? No, he is going to fall into the safety of his healers. The Brig right there with that life-giving health. Nevertheless, we do still have Dankquility in control of this objective. Daddy Heart's going to go ahead and throw his Deadeye into the mix. Maywall there, denying the value. And now, really no ultimates here on either side. Rally had come through from Scrimbucks, and you can see all of the armor on the DPS as well as the supports there for Valor as they're looking to push in. Daddy Heart is going to take advantage of that, find himself a kill, make that 2 kills coming through for the Cowboy. Molten Core thrown into the mix as well, and that's going to find 1. Now the Stun Fan and Hammer come down onto Jokobones, and Valor are in prime position to take this thing back, and they just need 1 fight win to tie us up here on Oasis.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, that was just a coordinated push onto the point. Taking down Sibzor, who had the tank configuration ready to go and actually got knocked out of his ultimate. No chance for him to use it, and then exit Deadeye, making sure that they don't touch the point there. So we are tied now, 1-1 going into Gardens, and I have to question right now the DPS complement from experienced Dankquility. The Bastion May is not something that I've ever seen played together. Also Psychotic, maybe swapping over to a Diva or a Sigma or even an Orisa. The Hog, ugh.
You just don't get much natural synergy between the Reinhardt Hog. Reinhardt is looking to push in close distance and brawl it out in a big bare knuckle fashion, while his Hog is looking to draw people in, get those early hooks and get some early picks, but utilizing distance. And so I fear they just don't have the synergy working together. But then again, on the other side, we're looking at Reinhardt Sigma. I mean, this one can play out a little bit better. Sigma just needs to sit back and protect his Reinhardt. Brig also there on the side of Valor as they're pushing in, sticking with the McCree and the Torbjorn as we head into Gardens in our final map of Oasis.
Indeed, and I mean, they're putting so much resources into Sibzor, keeping him up. Now, this is a 5v4 matchup right now, and now Psychotic is popping off.
Yeah, good start. Psychotic finding himself a pair of kills. Proby with a nice icicle to the dome amidst that engagement as well. And it is, in fact, going to be Dankquility getting first percentage for us here.
I mean, the sightlines favor the Bastion a little bit better here. You got to watch the rotations that Valor are going to use, because if he gets set up here, all they have to do is rotate around and then he's kind of caught out.
Well, right now they're running headlong into all of that damage. The Sigma able to use this kinetic grasp to kind of protect their entrance as they close this distance. Push on to the objective. Maywall combined with a mine put a hilarious move onto that Junkrat as he went flying into space, but now he's in an optimal position. Not permission, but a position to rain down some damage. Coalescence coming out on the side of Dankquility, though, is looking to hold on to this thing. Earthshatter down, finds nothing but the shield of Clothar, and now he has one of his own to work with. Coalescence there from Valor, and here comes that Earthshatter. It finds 3, but they got to get rid of that immortality field before they can put down any damage, and Evil's Senpai goes down. Hollow Earth, though, finds himself 2 kills with the Junkrat. Daddy Heart coming through with a pair of kills as well. So it looks like Dankquility never able to deal with the DPS on the high ground here.
Absolutely not. And Scrimbucks is absolutely laying waste with the flail. The little Swede coming through big in that engagement, only investing the Earthshatter from Clothar there. And earlier in the investment, they had the Coalescence come out. But now on the side of Dankquility, they did lose that Blizzard to try and gain as much progress as they could get. So maybe you want to have that one back. Maybe you die with it in your pocket and you engage with it the next time.
I like this stance up here, as Valor's just sitting up on the high ground protecting their 2 DPS positions. Deadeye coming out from Daddy Heart, if anything, just buying themselves some time. But the members of Dankquility were able to just hide behind the corner here. Sibzor, he's going to go ahead and throw his tank configuration into the mix. Did not find much. I think they just used that to push up onto that ground, claim a little space. And he can't get set up before Daddy Heart laying that Peacekeeper into him. Here comes the Earthshatter from behind. Closer can't quite find where the Reinhardt was coming from, and 2 people fall under that hammer. Great kills coming through. Coalescence in response as Valor is looking to try to hold on to this thing, but now another laser coming out from the other side, and Dankquility looking to be in control of the objective. But Clothar trying to change that back as he gets aggressive, goes swinging into the meat of Dankquility. But does he have enough sustain to keep himself there? He's forced to back out, and now we've got a little hammer war going on the point. Both Reinhardts go low. Clothar is the one who falls victim in that duel, and it does look like Dankquility will get this thing flipped.
Yeah, and a big amplification matrix came out from Frenchie and actually poured nothing but healing through it, and keeping his Reinhardt alive through that. That was actually really smart play coming from Frenchie, who on the Baptiste, Jokobone gets another shatter throughout that engagement, and Pruvi is halfway to another Blizzard. So I think you hold the high ground here and wait for them to come to you. Psychotic is still playing on this Roadhog. There's a huge hook coming from him.
Shatter came down, and actually Scrimbucks and Hollow got caught on the wrong side of that. Hollow goes down, but Daddy Heart responds with his Deadeye. That picks up 1. Clothar in there, swinging for the fences in that hyper-aggressive styles. They have to put pressure on this Bastion. Bastion does find the kill onto Daddy Heart, and so far staying entrenched on the corner of this objective. Clothar finally taking him out with a nice pin. Coalescence thrown in there as well for Valor, as these teams are neck and neck here in this race in our final round of Oasis. Holy cow.
But you do have some fight back coming from Clothar. Oh my gosh, you ran in too soon. You got to wait for your team there. Oh, those
94,
are destructive.
94, Valor in control. We do have the Earthshatter online for the other team, and here comes that tank configuration ult out of Sibzor as we are in final fight here in the final round of Oasis. Winner of this engagement will start us off with the 1-0 lead, and Clothar's going to throw the Earthshatter down, and that's a good start here for Valor. The one from the other side blocked, but Clothar hit by the big charge, and now the Reinhardt's out in no man land. Oh, whole hog on that point. Now there's nothing left in the bank for Dankquility, and I see a lot more blue jerseys standing on this objective. Charismatic whittled down low. Somehow Psychotic comes up with a big pick, but he's caught in a trap. He's got to use that take a breather, and somehow is still standing. Simzor gets himself in a great position as well. And despite the odds, I think Dankquility have swung this thing back the other way. As you can see, the red bar is starting to circle the blue B, and now they do have control, and they're in the position to take the 1-0 lead.
They do!
Holy cow, what a turnaround.
Oh my goodness, Clothar switched over to the Wrecking Ball. He was about 4 meters away from getting on there and contesting. Now I can say it officially. Experienced Dankquility taking their first map of the season on the back of Simzor and the Bastion, getting into a providential spot there on the side, taking down both healers. So, man, that's some good play. That's some good heart being shown by Experienced Dankquility here. So as we swap the maps here, Bullskunk, I think that the tank play for Valor Glory is the right choice. I just think that a couple of misses here or there, or a couple of really good positionings by the DPS, is what really carried that match for Experienced Dankquility, even though we do go 2-1 on that. So
that was a tough one. I mean, we saw there in the cards, 14 Earthshatter stuns, 11 of those followed up on and converted into kills there for Clothar for Valor. I mean, landing massive shatters, landing big ultimates there on the side of Valor, but in the end, Dankquility able to squeak out with the point. Psychotic on the hog, coming through in an unlikely composition, but able to find some value, able to get some key picks, and some great whole hog usage as well. And despite, the unexpected composition, they're able to edge it out. I'm a little bit in shock myself.
I am absolutely in shock, but I'm also proud. Because they have been smacked around the first part of this season, and that's their first map point on the board for the entire season. So that's got to be a victory right there. Now, do you carry on with it?
Yeah, it's a heck of a good start, but they need to ride that momentum, and I'm not sure their unusual comfort pick composition is going to be enough to carry them through all 4 maps here against Valor, but only time will tell. We are heading into Numbani for map number 2. It is going to be your hybrid map here in week 4.
Yeah, and this is where we've seen the chaff hit the road. As is said, there are things that we've seen us scratch our heads at over the matches that we've watched this week. We've seen a 6-man tire here this week.
Yes,
so
indeed.
I want to see what the healer comps come out as, and the tank line for Dankquility. That's my biggest moment of tension right now, is how are they going to deal with a high-low attack again, as they saw on Oasis at City Center. They really struggled against it. And if they do end up doing the split comp that we saw Valor Glory come out with on City Center, they weren't able to deal with the eye test being up here and down here. So that's my biggest thing. I want to see where they come, where they set up. They're coming in on the offense now. So, yeah, they're running the Reinhardt Roadhog again.
That's what they're showing us. They still have a few seconds to change their mind. On the defense, they're sticking with the Reinhardt Sigma here for Valor. Daddyheart sticking with the Cowboy McCree. Hollowworth on that Junkrat. We're getting Sama on the Ana with Scrimbucks over to the Baptiste. So we're not going to see the Brig here on the side of Valor for their defensive run. Going to the utility of that Baptiste. But look at Simzor sticking with this Bastion.
It worked. It absolutely worked. So, oh, there's a big hook. That's a big hook. But, oh, Senpai gets the first kill onto Proby.
Yeah, and now they're forced to try to get this res, but Hollow is putting so much damage in there that Jokerbones can't survive. Proby gets taken out for the second time here in this tiny little hallway, and now poor Bastion sitting there defenseless, just eating a rock. And this attack shut down before it ever began.
Oh, yeah. Look at Hollow Earth's ultimate charge so far. That's just off of one engagement. That's going to be a scary proposition. Yep. I like this. I like them going underneath. and changing the eye level. They just have to be silent as they do it because they have no way to know that they're underneath there. And if they get set up in time, they can actually surprise Valor Glory. That's a big wall.
Yeah, the wall going up top. Where did Sibzor go? Sibzor, where'd you get set up at? I don't even know where the Bastion went, but I can see the defense. Oh, he's trying to circle around on the outside. Hollow Earth was throwing some mines down onto the objective where the front line is dueling it out. Daddy Heart down there with them as well, trying to deny the aggression onto this point. And a little bit of a split attack. I like it. Now they've got Sibzor positioned up on the high ground, and Valor are in big trouble. Clothar gets taken down, the wall separating him out from his team. Hollow are trying to flank around, but Sibzor picking up the flank. And now he's going to drop onto the objective, take out Daddy Heart. He's going to drop his tank configuration, and Dankquility looking to pick up a very fast point A here on Numbani.
That was fast. That was clinical. And now the exit kills may be coming out there. Yep. Through the blizzard.
Through the blizzard. Probably you're going to want that one back, bud.
I mean, if we talk about it, I mean, he got it really remarkably fast.
No doubt. No doubt.
So, I mean, right now, a pirate ship a-coming. You only have the one shield, though. But, I mean, he didn't care about a shield. He took down Hollow Earth's tire there also when Hollow Earth was trying to, he tried to solo ult him. Actually went into his turret configuration and just blasted it down real fast.
Oh, Daddy Heart dropping off the top balcony, throws the Deadeye in, and he cleans that ship right up. Deck has been swabbed, tried to turn his attention to the May, but May bailed out by a nice hook from Psychotic. Nevertheless, defense with this big man advantage, and they're going to go ahead and press the attack. Oh, no, never mind. Never mind. I thought for sure they were going to try to put some pressure onto that hog, but Clothar and company content to just sit back and keep the members of Dankquility in check here. Now, as their reinforcements come back into the fray, they're going to try to push back around onto the final corner here of point B, and they've got to get Sibzor set up. Where are you trying to get this Bastion set up? Trying to get him back on the point? So far, he's just kind of scrambling around in the back, trying to dodge those grenades coming from Hollow Earth. And meanwhile, on the front line, big ante onto the Reinhardt of Dankquility. And Hollow Earth, he's going to respond back. Defensive tire coming through, finds Psychotic, finds the Mercy. And then a late Coalescence coming back in as Dankquility continues to try to fight this thing out despite being at a massive disadvantage.
Yeah, and I mean, they're keeping up Jokabone so well right now. That Coalescence was nothing meant but for him. The healing orbs coming out from Frenchie, who, man, what a great play from this Moira player for experienced Dankquility. This is actually really big. That's a huge Shatter coming through.
Yeah, Shatter finds 3. Immortality field there, though. Scrimbuck's right on top of things with that cooldown in his pocket, and now Nanoboost going back onto Evil Senpai. As he has that Gravitic Flux, but opts not to use it, should I say. Doesn't need it. 3 kills coming through from the defense. Hollow Earth still just uncontested on this high ground with the Junkrat.
Yep, I think they need to change up their strategy here right now because, oh gosh, Psychotic just ate 19,000 grenades to his pretty hog face. But I think Sibzor's trying to get, he's trying to contest the high ground now. He's got a pocket with the Mercy. Charismatic going with him up to the high ground. They're going to have a Junkrat to deal with up here, though.
They take care of the Junkrat, and that was really the gatekeeper here. If they can get Sibzor set up on this high ground, it's going to be very dangerous for the likes of Valor. They're going to use tank configuration just to move Sibzor into position. He runs off Daddy Heart on the McCree and is trying to get set up above the tank line as they just slowly work their way around, and I like this planning. You can see them constricting onto the defense like a boa and moving that point into its resting place. 2 points on the board here for Dankquility. What a fantastic movement. What a fantastic rotation.
I mean, the rotation was clinical, and wow. You don't expect to see it, and this Bastion is actually smart enough to, A, heal himself as needed, and he gets the pocket from Charismatic, but he's getting the sight lines that you expect either a Hanzo or a McCree to be using. Taking the high ground, and that kill from Frenchie, who onto Hollow Earth was what the doctor ordered there. However, you got Hollow Earth coming out on the backside of the team, letting loose of the tire. Here it comes in. That picks up 1.
Both DPS ults coming out, 3 kills under the back of it, and then the rest of the team just moved in and clean house. Honestly, that's a win. That's a win there for Dankquility, though, because Valor had so many ultimates. If you look across the top now, it's 3, 25, 7, and 4. They used all 5 of those ultimates simultaneously around that first corner, and Dankquility able to just come right back into this thing as far as the economy is concerned. Now, Hollowworth up on the high ground trying to contest. Sibzor halfway to his tank configuration as they look to get into position up here. Going down early. That's not what you wanted if you're Dankquility. You want to be able to build up some of that blizzard and help break this thing open. As it is, I think they just need to reset and wait for him to get back. Don't risk any more fatalities here.
Absolutely. And, you know, what I'm seeing right now is Provi is trying to get out there and trying to get so much value. You're going into double shield still, but now Clothar going off the Reinhardt, going onto the natural synergy of the Orisa Sigma tank lineup. So this is what I like to see. I like to see the switch-ups.
Yeah, and I think Orisa Sigma is definitely a good way to play here. Maintain that distance, put tons of damage down. But they got to worry about Jokovo's taken out before he can get his Earthshatter up. That's a big play. And now Blizzard coming out. But the Orisa, she's going to get that nano boost. Oh, just left half a foot in there. And that's going to spell her doom. Gets whole hogged from behind. Sakata coming through with the off angle. Whole hog there. Hollowworth trying to answer back, throws his tire to the mix, finds one, but then Sibzor has that tick configuration, and that's going to take out Sam. Primary source of healing gone, follows it up with a nice kill on the Scrimbucks. Both healers fall to the hands of this Bastion. Daddy Heart throwing himself onto the objective, trying to stall out for as long as he can. Clothar coming out, fortified, and does win the duel against Sibzor, but is eventually going to fall. Sam coming back on the Moira, has to fade, has to stall for as long as he can against the 3 remaining members of Dankquility who are looking to try to push this thing in, but they only have 15 seconds on the clock. Mercy coming back in. Here's the Gravitic Flux out of Evil Senpai. That finds 3. Nano Boost has to be thrown onto the Mei just to keep that character in there. Provi, nevertheless, down to as low as 50 health before finding healing. Daddy Heart coming in with a big kill, swapping over to that Reaper to put some up-close pressure. Now looking for the flank. Nice headshot onto Sibzor. The Tracer goes down, trying to follow it up with the kill onto the Ana. Can't quite find the kill just yet. There it is. Sam comes over with one big pick as well. And one by one, the reinforcements of Dankquility are dwindling. And I think 68 meters is what they're going to have to settle for here on Numbani.
I mean, but it was such a good push. I mean, the compliment that came out on that first point, and they got it that far. No swaps except for Frenchie Who swapping off the Moira and going over to the Ana to provide the antis and the nano boost at the end. I thought they had it pushed out there, and let me tell you what, Scrimbucks throwing that immortality barrier out onto his Moira that was down to 20 health. Whoo! Good plays coming from both sides. Big brain play coming from Scrimbucks, because that actually saved them from getting 3 points against them, because they were just pushing hard, but they stabilized with that immortality barrier and getting a shield in front of it, and they couldn't be taken down fast enough before all the kills started coming through for Valor Glory. So win condition set. You've got to get 68.14 meters to get the win here, and we'll see if they can do it. And they're bringing out the same exact complement here on the defense, bringing out the Ryan Hog, Frenchie Who bringing out the Baptiste this time, and Charismatic going over to the Moira. I'm surprised I don't see the Mercy here on their defense. On the other side,
now they want to keep the Baptiste for the Bastion here, I think. I mean, that immortality, the immortality is just too good at keeping him bunkered up. The Ant Matrix, I mean, that's the best combo I could think of in the game as far as to pair with that Ant Matrix would be that Bastion turret. Now, what was surprising to me is they were initially going to hold close up here on this high ground, and then they thought better of it, and they are just going to sit in the back, kind of where your sniper might sit here on the back of point A. But yes, Junkrat Reaper here on the attack. What do you make of this composition?
I think Daddy Heart, one job is to get in on the Bastion, teleport in there and put damage in on him.
But they're running with the Orisa Sigma tank line. So again, a little bit conflicting objectives here, I think, between your front line and your DPS. Daddy Heart eating a hook immediately as Dankquility prepared for the off angle coming through. But nevertheless, they're going to try to push through this tight little hallway. You can see Daddy Heart teleporting up on the other side. Yes, he's just waiting directly beneath them. They're going to have to watch out for Provi coming from behind. This is a dangerous mission, but Provi is going after it. He's going to freeze up Scrimbucks. He does manage to get that immortality field down at just the last second before becoming a popsicle of his own. But I think the pressure was a good move there from Dankquility, and now the front line able to move in. Proby barely escaping out with his life. Psychotic there to bail out his DPS. Now you've got Daddy Heart flipping things on its heels as he's the one putting the pressure on the back line, looking to take out the Baptiste. Baptiste goes down. Oh, with Coalescence thrown into the mix, able to keep the tanks alive. Sibzor finding that kill, but Evil Senpai manages to take out Psychotic on the Hog, who is caught out down on the objective. And now make that 5 members of Valor here, laying in a bunch of damage, using Tired with the exclamation point down here on point A.
Oh man, and that was a huge hook coming from halt coming from Clothar, pulling Sibzor off the high ground. Moira doing Charismatic doing everything he can to keep Bastion up there, but it was to no avail. Now we are going into the streets phase here, Bullskunk, and you've got a couple of ultimates online for both sides. All important Blizzard ready to go, just about. Tank configuration. There goes the immortality barrier, so that could be actually something that we look at here real quickly.
Yeah, Immortality Field used early here for the defense. We are going to get the Gravitic Flux coming out on the side of Valor. Earthshatter now thrown down. Looked to just hit the Junkrat, but he manages to stay on his feet as Sibzor is going to follow it up with that tank configuration one by one. It seems that the defense are throwing ultimates into this thing, but one by one they fall to the wayside. Now they do find that kill onto Daddy Heart, and who had dropped his Death Blossom into the mix. Don't think he found much with that. Nevertheless, the defense forced all the way back into point B here, and Valor buying themselves some space.
You've got to bring out another shield. You got to bring out another shield because you're just losing the shield war right now.
Supercharger, Rip Tire coming in from the offense. Fire Strike finds that tire, devaluing that ult. Now we've got the Blizzard coming out from the defense. Coalescence thrown into the mix as well. They're going to go ahead and put the whole hog on there. It seems like everybody's pressing Y here for Dankquility. Can they get any value out of it? It doesn't look like Valor caught off at all. Everybody just ducking around their respective corners and now punching right back. Daddy Heart coming up with a big kill. Looks like Jokerbone's trying to swing his hammer on him, but he is not phased. Daddy Heart staying above half health. Same cannot be said for Jokerbones on the Reinhardt as he falls at the feet of this objective at 2 points on the board here for Valor.
Yep, and that's a crazy try to recontest just with a lone Baptiste and gets just punched down by Evil Senpai on the Sigma. So you've got to plant your feet. 4:33 on the clock. You've got to drop the Roadhog. That it's being proven right now that you need to have 2 shields. You're trying to hook through 2 shields.
Yeah, and Evil Senpai and Clothar are absolutely on top of it. They're playing that hog exactly as you should, being very mindful of that big cooldown. Now, the other thing they're have to be mindful of is that Bastion. Sibzor making that swap here and sitting all the way on the back of point C. So it's going to be very difficult for them to close this gap here without a plan. They're going to go ahead and throw the M-Matrix down early here for Valor as they look to push in. Gravitic Flux. Oh, he's hooked out of the Flux. No value there. In fact, he just sacrifices himself. He pressed Y to die here for the Sigma. But, oh, meanwhile, in the backline, Jokerbones is trying to go in and do something flanky. He gets taken down. Death Blossom thrown over to the point, and that makes for a clean and easy pickup on that 3rd point. Valor tidying us up here on Numbani.
I mean, composition. That's all it was. Good coordinated play. Clothar swapping off of the Reinhardt and going to the Orisa there at the end of point 3 on their defense. Decided to stick with it going into their attack phase, and that is absolutely the difference between these two teams, the tank lines. Sibzor is shredding on the Bastion when he doesn't get teleported on by Daddy Heart, or getting a grenade to the face from Hollow Earth. So right now the DPS line from Valor stepping up, doing their job. The tank line now, taking the Reinhardt out of the mix and putting the Orisa into the wash, as it were, is the difference. That ability to control the space, take the space, deny the movement.
Yes, sir.
Of experienced Dankquility. That is what is the difference right now. You have got to get off this Roadhog, Psychotic. I don't care how much you like him. You're losing the battle because you're trying to hook through 2 shields, and I just watch it bounce off every single time, and it's frustrating as a tank player, and myself being a tank player, to see the stubbornness of the pick.
You got to play the chess game. You got to play the chess game. You got to play your counters, and you got to counter pick, most importantly. Well, we're all tied up here at the half. We're going to take a quick intermission, but y'all don't go anywhere. We'll see you back here on Volskaya, so who can take the lead when we return in just a couple minutes. Welcome back, my friends, to the Console Overwatch multi-tier tournament. My name's Bull Skunk, alongside Chef Billy here, bringing you some Tier 2 action in our second of our doubleheader matchups here on this beautiful Saturday evening. So far, we're all tied up here at the half between Valor, Glory, and experienced Dankquility. Billy, who do you think is going to take the edge here as we head into Map 3? Do you think the unusual compositions from Dankquility are hurting him here, or will they continue to thrive on those comfort picks as we have... Holy cow! As we just had 10 gifted subs come through from Figgy Smalls. Oh, gee, Figgy, huge, man. Thank you. You caught me mid-sentence, taking my breath away. Billy, you're going to have to take it from here. I need a moment to breathe.
Okay, well, wow, Pagu, Figgy, we love you, buddy. Okay, so, as I said, I hope they were watching the stream, because you got to get off the Roadhog. It's not working. And that's just me being completely bluntly honest, as I always am. I love comfort picks, and if you're fragging out with it, go ahead and do it. But you're not fragging out. You got steamrolled there at the end on defense. It wasn't close. So I think that's the biggest switch right now that I want to see out of Psychotic is getting off of the Roadhog. You've got other off tanks that you can play right now. I know the Zarya is not available, but you got Diva that will take care of damage, and the game-changing ult and the self-destruct. You've got the ball to harass the back line, because right now you're not harassing anybody but your teammates with the Roadhog play. The mines are a zoning ult. You can kill with it. You can boot people off, especially here in Volskaya. You've got the pile driver available with that. So there's other teaks that you can play, or go to the Orisa. Play Ryan Orisa. If you're intent upon playing this, at least go halt hook then. If you're going to stay on the Roadhog, then maybe the other tank needs to go ahead and switch.
Yeah,
because
I think if you're going to stick with the Hog, you've got to at least pull in the Orisa to accompany the Hog.
Yeah, so I mean,
I think the Rhino Orisa could work really well. I think that's a great suggestion. Could serve them well here as we head into Volskaya. Will be our assault map for tonight. We'll be the one to see if we can break this tiebreaker. Oh man, we had Figgy coming through with 7 more huge gifted. Holy cow, that is massive. Thank you so much, Figgy. Huge.
We love you.
That is we head into Volskaya. My goodness. Figgy's coming through with the massive support.
They listen unless they're debating me right now.
Well, we are going to get Dankquility starting us off here on the defense this time around in the blue jerseys. And yeah, looks like they're going to come out with that Reinhardt Orisa.
I mean, this is automatic upgrade on their defensive abilities. Plus, you got the Fortify too. That's the other thing that is so underrated in Orisa's kit is the ability to fortify through a tire. Your ultimate does not leave you vulnerable. You can't hit your vape, as we call it, or take a breather. And this gives your Bastion that much more of shielding. So yes, Dankquility. This is good.
We are going to get that Reaper Junkrat combination on the other side. So Orisa, definitely a great pick here. Can be used to good effect against the Reaper. As the Orisa Sigma front line of Valor looking to push up close. Sibzor takes down both of the DPS on the other side as they get ahead of their shields. They get ahead of that kinetic grasp, and they pay the price with their lives. Now Proxy just looking over the top to see if he can find himself an exit kill here, but a great start of the defense for Dankquility.
Yep. And
yeah, I thought I saw him run into a wall there, but I wasn't quite sure.
Yeah, so we've got the pause going on right now as I start my timer, waiting for Daddy Heart to reconnect. We've got to take stock of what just happened. You throw the Orisa in there, you throw the halt in there, you get a kill immediately off of the halt.
Yeah.
Using with the Bastion. So immediate upgrade right there.
Even though There was a little bit of a technical issue there. If you caught Daddy Hart ran just straight forward through his shield and directly into a wall, which is where he was able to get picked off by Sibzor. And I can't help but wonder if he had a DC, that would not have happened. But nevertheless, I still think the composition change is a vast improvement. And so far, I mean, they still got 2 kills right out of the gate, despite the circumstances.
Yeah, and Provi, you know, got on top of the little building there, the little room we call it, and was flicking headshots into the team. So I mean, his ult charge is at 31% already. Sibzor at 30%. So I mean, if we're looking at what we see here, you know, it's a bit better. It's better than what we saw before. And I think I just saw Daddy Hart join back to the game. Let me go check the lobby as we speak. Yes,
of course, always want to make sure. Everybody's good to go. Don't want to catch any of our players off guard here, coming out of a pause or anything like that. Make sure everybody's got fingers on the buttons.
Yeah, I think that's one of those fast DCs that we see sometimes.
Well, coming back into this thing, do you think we're going to get any swaps coming out of Valor here now that they've spotted this Bastion composition?
Does Daddy Hart go back to the Reaper? Was he on the Reaper in the first place?
He was on the Reaper here to start us off.
Okay, so Daddy Hart getting picked off there. He ran into a wall. Yeah, I say that you stick with it for now.
Right.
But I mean, getting past the double shield is going to be really hard for them to do. So we're going to see what happens.
Well, it looks like we've got the ready up, and we're going to go ahead and get back into this thing.
I heard back.
We'll expect to disengage from Valor as they look to regroup. Daddy Hart indeed swapping off of that Reaper, going over to the McCree here as they look to make their second engagement. Provi forced to ice block up, and it does look like the members of Valor are going to try to keep pressure onto that Mei. You could see Charismatic kind of doing a little flyby there. Oh, eats a bullet in the process. Forced back behind the double shield. Provi still just trying to do a little check and balancing up there on the top of box. As you can see, Valor just huddled up here behind Forklift, waiting for their time to go. And they have decided now is the time. They're going to go to put pressure up on this composition. Orisa Shield's overlapping, but they got to get past the Reinhardt. Oh, nice rock, nice flashbang going down onto Psychotic. Somehow, both the healers able to keep him alive through the onslaught. Coming from Valor here. Joker Bones falling down off the back. Looks like the Orisa is going to take a little side duel. Meanwhile, the rest of Valor trying to push up onto the high ground. Now
there goes Psychotic Shield. It's down.
And it does look like Valor is circling around as they're all just going to path around through Mega. Dankquility doing a good job of rotating, matching them, but now they have forfeited the high ground to the Sigma up there, who's just throwing rocks down from above. You're going to have to be careful of Daddy Hart out here on the flank, looking for the off angle. Yeah, I expected him to go all the way around. He looks like he's debating on it himself. It's a risky play, Cowboy. It's a risky play. But you got to make your move at some point, because here comes the Earthshatter from the other side. It manages to squeeze through both shields. Immortality Field there, though. And Dankquility is still standing. Oh, I spoke too soon. Sibzor, I'm sorry, that was Valor taking the brunt of the damage there from Sibzor. They're going to trade out DPS. 5v5 here on the objective. And Dankquility able to get that res. Valkyrie coming in handy, but here comes the Deadeye on the other side. Oh, Daddy Hart cannot pull the trigger on it. Joker Bones and the Bastion and Sibzor combining there for a ton of damage. And this defense looking really strong here so far in Volskaya.
Man, immediate upgrade. Up as we say that, Joker Bone does go down. Sibzor again laying waste with the turret configuration. Picking up 2. Here's comes the tire in from Hollowworth. Picks up nobody. Sibzor with a 3-pack of kills here as we have maximum aggression. And Sibzor, my goodness, laying waste for the Bastion. 4K kills. That's a reset for Hollowworth. You have to think 45 seconds on the clock. What can they do, Bullskunk?
They should have reset a lot sooner. They tried to throw 3 people up there against Sibzor, and he was just having none of it. They were already 2 men down in the engagement and tried to just come through and like muscle it home. Hollowworth throwing in a desperation tire in there. In the end, it gets nada, and now they are forced to make a desperation move onto this objective. They do still have both tank ultimates, but that is it. And they are running into Blizzard and 2 tank ults on the other side, including an Earthshatter from Psychotic.
Daddy Heart sneaking on the backside of Provi right now. Keep an eye for this. Keep an eye for this.
Yeah, he's gonna push it in, try to get some shots down. Does find Charismatic there with the Reaper. We have the Gravitic Flux coming out on the side of Valor as well. Blizzard coming out from the side of the defense, but so far just getting a couple of pieces of utility down. But now the teams are going to clash right on this objective. Dankquility have had enough, and they're going to start getting aggressive. Psychotic getting a little too aggressive. Overreaches a bit and goes down. Maywall coming up from the defense to try to fight him off, but here comes the Ant Matrix from the side of Valor. Oh, but still the kills coming through the other way despite the double damage. They cannot make their way onto the point, and that's a full hold here from experienced Dankquility.
Jokabone going to the Orisa. Big brain play. That is what won you that full hold right there, ladies and gentlemen. Sibzor going out of his mind on the Bastion, though. With a bit of a damage boost at times, Charismatic is actually the silent hero of that round, Bullskunk, because he was flying back and forth between Provi and the main group up here on the upper left-hand side. And the rotations, when it came, were spot on. Despite a quick pick of Jokabones in the Orisa 1v1, the res was able to come through, and I mean, they just didn't have a key to unlock what experienced Dankquility brought to that. That's just it's much better play coming from Dankquility here. Now, as we look at the defense coming out from the side of Valor Glory, I try to mix the two teams up, a little team mashup. Yeah, okay. I thought they were going to bring out their own Bastion, and I would have applauded it. They've actually swapped over to the Junkrat for that hero. Daddy Heart going back onto the McCree for the defense. Double shield setup. I like this setup. Sibzor is just going to stay on this Bastion all night.
Yeah, apparently, yeah, he's just not budging off of the Gatling gun hero.
But why would you at this point?
At this point, it's working. I think it might be difficult to get him set up here, but we shall see. I expect them to try to loop around far left. Yeah, that's exactly what they're going to do. Now, the question is, can they make it there safely? Provi just going full sprint all the way around. The rest of his team slowed down a little bit. Now Provi's going to wall himself all the way up to the top of box. See if they can get some positioning. This is a bit of an interesting rotation. So the Bastion going up to the high ground. Looks like the tanks were feigning coming in the low left. And now they're going to go ahead and join Sibzor up there on the top. See if they can get an opening pick here.
Immortality field coming out extremely early from Scrimbucks. They're not sure how to handle this.
It was an interesting rotation, interesting look coming out of the offense. Rock does go up that accretion, finding the Bastion, but Heal Nades coming through. They got Frenchie on that Ana, so no Baptiste here this time for the bunker team with the Bastion here for Dankquility. Opting for the Ana instead. Now, Daddy Heart coming through, eats a big anti-nade from Frenchie who already has that nano boost online and ready to go. Sibzor going down low. Are they going to throw the anti in or the nano boost in? Psychotic drops. Daddy Heart coming up the big pit, finds the head of the Reinhardt. And that's a good start here for the defense, trying to rotate their Bastion around. Dankquility circles to the next stage of high ground here. And it looks like this offense is kind of petering out a little bit. Although they may be just trying to get set up for their next assault. Oh, if they wait too long, the hook's going to come through just as it does. Charismatic and Jokabones fall into the Deadeye. Jokabones forced down into the low ground as he got just yanked down from an Orisa hole. We did get that nano boost onto Sibzor, but I think it's too little too late here for the attack.
Yep, they've got to watch what they're doing right now because they've got a flanking Hollow Earth on their side that just got his Riptire available to him. So now what we're looking at is an ult extravaganza. Oh, that's a huge hook coming from Clothar onto Frenchie. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Frenchie pulled off the side as they tried to rotate back and rejoin the rest of their team. In 2 minutes, already eaten off the clock here by this defense.
I mean, it's what we expected. You know, seeing the Orisa versus Orisa battle, that is what you want to see. Woo! Deleted.
Yeah, nice tire coming in. Very heads up, great awareness. Dropping the tire right on the dome of the two most important players that they could find on the opposing composition. Daddy Heart denying the retreat, finds 2 kills on the exit as well.
I mean, Daddy Heart and Hollow Earth both combining for 4 kills there. That is big moves from them. And now it looks like they're going to try and come up and deny the ability for them to have the rotations that they want. I like the aggression. I think you do come up here and you do get into this choke.
Ton of ultimates online for the defense. 65 seconds on the clock. Billy, this is drawable.
It's absolutely drawable. It's just, I mean, all they have to do is get 33%, though. That's one thing that you have to look at. Provi coming up with his Blizzard now. This could be big, but Chocobo's going down early.
Losing your Orisa early is not going to help, though the res is available. That means there's no shielding there for the Bastion. Daddy Heart taking full advantage, and he has yet another Deadeye online. Looking to put the pressure down onto the Reinhardt. Finds Charismatic instead. Landing 2 shots back to back. No more mercy, no more res. 33 seconds on the clock, and Chocobones drops. This attack falling apart before they can even get into position. And now, Valor in a great state to hold on here and put up a full hold in response. Tons of ultimates online. 18 seconds on the clock.
You got to push. You got to push in right now, and you got to put caution to the wind and just get on the point. 10 seconds to go. 9.
2 support ults, 2 tank ults, and a Blizzard coming up on a full big 6 here for the attacking team. Dankquility's going to run in, throw their Blizzard down. And that is going to find the Baptiste, but the Orisa able to fortify up. Earthshatter comes through, and 2 kills coming through. Psychotic answering right back. Oh, I think the Earthshatter may have done it. Oh, but the Supercharger's there, man. Reinforcements dwindling on both sides. It's a 1v1 on the point. Oh my God, Hollowworth comes in with the kills. He is actually going to hold on here for Valor. I don't believe it. What a draw. What a draw. Oh my goodness. I was on my feet and now I'm on my back. What did we just see, Billy? What the heck was that? What the heck was that? You come down to one lone standing Junkrat. The Earthshatter there at the end, working past through the Deadeye, working through the opening picks. Good gracious almighty.
It wasn't even so much of an extravaganza. It was more just great play from both sides. Both sides had it neck and neck there, and just Hollow Earth in the very end, getting the concussion mine onto Provi. Oh my God, I need a cigarette and a drink after that. Woo! Because I'm wet. So
what?
We go.
What on earth did we just witness?
As you can tell from our faces, that was lovely. It was fun. It was exciting.
It was a 0-0 Volskaya Industries.
I mean, great. So yeah, I mean, great plays from both sides.
Great
I mean, you have to give it to both
sides. No doubt.
That was no doubt about it. As I'm going to go ahead and swap our teams here as we go to Route 66, my friend. You know, this was an eye test for Experienced Dankquility. They can actually come out with the match or the series win. Should they take Route 66 on the other side, though, Valor Glory could also come out with the series win if they win this match.
It's one map to decide it here at this point. We're basically going to a tiebreaker of Route 66. We're going to do some swap sides. I need to catch my breath. Give us 60 seconds to regroup here, and we'll come back and see you on map 4. Well, welcome back. Billy and I have had a chance to compose ourselves a little bit after that chaotic finish there in our 0-0 Volskaya Industries. Hollow coming through big as the last rat standing, as Billy made the joke, one rat to rule them all. They're on Volskaya as he emerged victorious, king of the hill, standing alone on the top there on point A. Wow, what a finish. And that takes us to Route 66. We're heading into map 4, all tied up. And whoever wins Escort will take the victory here today. Billy, who are you going to give the edge to? Who do you think is gonna narrow this one out?
Oh man,
it's tough. It's a tough call.
If Hollow pops off again like he did last map, then I give the slight edge to Valor Glory. However, looking at it from
I would counter with if the tank line continues up the great play that we saw on map 3 there for Dankquility. If they stick with the Orisa Sigma there, and run that, the Orisa Reinhardt even, I believe is what we saw out of that time actually. Mm-hmm. If they stick with that double shield composition, I think they've got a really good shot at this. Their support line coming through big in that last match, and I think one of the reasons that stayed as competitive as it was.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you took the words right out of my mouth there, Bull Skunk, because I think that the swap off of the Roadhog changed the nature of this match and turned it into an absolutely even keeled match instead of the snowball that we saw of Numbani.
You saw it there. That final fight was pretty indicative of how this whole match has gone. You know, 2 early picks for one team, counter back from the other side. A great ult thrown in from one team, and then the answer right back. It was nuts. It was nuts. And it comes down to literally a 2v2 at the end, goes to a 1v1. Hollow emerges victorious there. So if that was any indication, then Valor is going to narrowly edge out Route 66, but it's still anybody's game as far as I'm concerned.
Yep. And as I send us into Route 66 here, the aforementioned map to rule to figure out who's going to take the win here. My goodness. Sibzor has played his ass off on this Bastion.
Playing out of his mind.
And
who would have thunk it? Who would have thunk it that a Bastion would? I mean, it was almost laughable if you're like, he's just gonna insta-lock Bastion the whole match. You're like, well, that's an L. No, Sibzor. They're doing such a great job of playing around him, such a great job of pouring all the resources necessary into making that character as just as dangerous and as viable as humanly possible.
And I mean, there's no change. Well, there is a bit of a change. Frenchie Who going over to the Brigitte, so there's going to be a little bit more brawling going on and providing those armor packs in the rally, all-important rally when she does finally get that ultimate. On the other side, for the defense, Valor Glory showing up with a Reinhardt Sigma. I like it.
Yeah. I mean, I think you'd still be better off with an Orisa Sigma as far as what they're holding up on the top of the gas station back there, looking to kind of plan a bunker. With the Hanzo and the Junkrat also utilizing that high ground, looking to just put in some early spam damage, find those early picks. But you've got to keep Sibzor Company from getting set up.
You do, and there's a big pick right out of the gate. Evil Senpai getting a big rock into Psychotic. Now, that being said, you do have the long-range abilities of Assassin, who has come in for Valor Glory on the Shimada brother in the Hanzo.
Yeah, sitting up on the gas station still. He's up there raining damage. Hollow Earth able to find a good kill onto Frenchie. And Assassin making his presence known out of the gate with a good pick onto the Bastion. They do find the res onto that, but of course that means there's no more healing available during that res for the rest of the team. Valor able to take advantage, find another pick, and force the reset here out of Dankquility.
They're not contesting the high ground right now, and Hollow Earth has put a very smart trap on top of the high ground here. You've got to find a way to get your Bastion set up. That's the only thing that's really hard right here is getting Bastion set up, but there's a backside rotation coming from Sibzor right now.
Goes all the way inside of the garage here, but Assassin right there ready for him, pours a volley of storm arrows down, and Bastion cannot survive. Now you've got the front line of Dankquility caught in this awkward position. May overextending a bit, trying to make something happen, trying to multi-freeze, forced to fall back to the cart, and here comes the Dragons from the other side. Nowhere to run for the 2 tanks, and they just get absolutely decimated by the double Dragons, and this will be a full reset finally coming through.
Yep, and I think it's time to either consider to swap off of the Bastion, I'm going to call it, because this map just is so hard to get him set up, and you don't have the... if you're going to run this, then you need to bring out the Sigma and get those 2 big barriers out.
He's going to go ahead and throw his tank configuration up on the high ground. There is a Sigma shield waiting for him, and I imagine Kinetic Grasp is going to be there as well. Earthshatter! Solo coming through onto the Bastion, and now the members of Valor just running through there, cleaning out the cave. Hollow Earth coming up with a nice pick as well, denying the primary source of healing on the other side. Res does come through onto Frenchie, getting that Moira back in battle. But without their Bastion, they don't have the damage to burn through this double shield composition. May is going to drop late in the fight. Sibzor making a swap over to the Tracer here, kind of in desperation with just a $1.23 on the clock.
I scratch my head at this pick. I scratch my head at this pick, and I don't care what anybody says about it. I scratch my head at this pick because it's not enough damage. Oh, man.
And the second dragon coming out for Assassin in as many minutes. And again, he finds 2 kills with it, getting great value out of the Shimada ultimate here. And with just 60 seconds on the clock, Dankquility struggling to find an opening here on Route 66. Lower just laying down and taking a rest up here. He's going to have to be careful. He's sitting there on the off angle waiting for Dankquility to approach. Here comes that tire from Hollow Earth. Sibzor ready for it. Picks it off. No value there from the Rift Tire. Now Provi with the Blizzard, the rest of the team trying to push through this high ground, but man, they're struggling to find any room to work. Chocobo's able to drop his 4-5 push out there. Got the supercharger in his pocket. You can see Sibzor down low. He was whittled down to 1, makes his way onto the Mega, and Chocobo finds the kill onto Hollow Earth.
Another dragon.
Yeah, third dragon's coming out from Assassin right over the top, and once again, Chocobones falls. I believe the 3rd time in a row he's fell victim to that ultimate. And now the front line from Valor with room to work are going to push in. They do run into a Blizzard. Blizzard finds 3. Can the cleanup come through? Sibzor finds 2 of the kills, but Earthshatter comes out from the other way. Provi falling to that Earthshatter, but the kill not quite there. Able to ice block up, able to survive for the moment. The Assassin of Hanzo finding 2 kills. But I think that the Dankquility might have actually managed to open this thing up, but not a moment too soon. Overtime Wick is a burden here as they push through the final stretch of point A.
There may be a new MVP candidate right now because Assassin is absolutely being an assassin right now and just destroying the DPS players of Valor Glory. But now, very close to capturing point A here. Coalescence coming out on the side. Oh my goodness, what a battle going on in the corner here.
That was a mean Coalescence. That was absolutely filthy. I mean, they're still brawling out on point. Valor can't make something happen here. Hollow's done it before, but he's going to get shut down this time, and that is going to be a point on the board. 2:30 on the clock there for Dankquility. But going back, man, Frenchie putting up a fantastic Coalescence. Valor was forced to kind of come through that narrow window, that narrow choke on the far left side from the attacker's point of view, and they just got melted by that ultimate.
No, absolutely. And Sibzor finally is not being stubborn with the Tracer and the Bashing, which he's run all night. Going over to the Junkrat immediately changes the value of the game. And now Jokabones is on the Winston. He actually put a ton of work in with a Tesla cannon. He almost has his Primal Rage available and ready to go.
I don't quite understand the Winston pick. Again, I mean, I think it's just this team. They just stick to what they're comfortable with. In fact, two kills coming through. One with the tire. Sibzor fighting a pair in that. Yeah. And this oddball composition that just seems to be a mishmash of heroes, well, it's working for them. And they've got momentum, and they've got close to 2 points on the board here. Are we going to get a contest from Valor?
I think so. I think, oh, that's a great dragon coming through.
Psychotic. Psychotic just stubbornly tries to stand through it and just eat so much damage. They are going to get that res. Jokabo's running into a trap, forced to drop his Primal Rage. Earthshatter coming out on the side of the defense. Blocked narrowly, but still a couple members of the offense were stricken by that. And Clothar comes through swinging, emerges with 2 kills, and onto the objective. The defense will plant their feet here on the back of point B with just 60 seconds on the clock.
I have a new name for this team. And their new name is Experienced Chengdu. I have decided that is their new name because they are just running out some really zany comps, and I'm liking it. Sometimes we scratch our heads, but man, it's done the job.
Yeah, Chengdu Dankquility.
Chengdu Dankquility.
Not quite enough wrecking ball on the field for that to earn them that title just yet, but I like where your head's at. We'll work it out. We'll work it out. Sibzor coming up with an early pick here as he's sitting on the rooftop just raining down some grenades. Does get challenged up on the high ground by a Hollow Earth, and he's 96 to that tire. Sibzor needs to stay alive if they want to put the second point on the board. Provi throwing out that Blizzard as this is the last chance here on point B for Dankquility to make something happen, and it looks like they will indeed make quite a few things happen, including getting that second point up on the board.
Oh, that's a late kill coming through for Psychotic onto Evil Senpai. Jokabone's getting the res there from his Mercy. Sibzor has a tire online ready to go. That was a huge Blizzard coming out from Provi there. You got to worry about the Gravitic Flux here, though, coming through. Assassin has almost his 5th Dragon Strike online, ready to go.
And Assassin coming through with a nice headshot there. Takes Sibzor down, who is holding Tire. And with just 60 seconds on the clock, every ultimate is so important. Every engagement just means so much here at the back of map 4. And remember, this map will decide everything. Sibzor dropping in a big 2K. And Psychotic dropping an Earthshatter into the mix as well. Jokebones does still have his Primal online, but there's 2 tank ultimates there on the other side. Jokebones is going to go ahead and invest the Primal Rage, try to keep Valor here at the back left entrance. Psychotic picking up a kill on the Scrimbucks, denying anything coming out of that Baptiste. Earthshatter coming out. Clothar finds 1 with the Earthshatter, and Assassin with what is 6th dragon of this defense. And he manages to pick up a kill with that. But the front line of Dankquility, they're still in there swinging for the fences. Psychotic with just a speck of health. I think he was down to about 40 there, but does get the kill onto Hollow Earth. Assassin trying to strike back, switches over to the Reaper here at the final seconds of this point, finds the kill on Jokabones, but Proby taking out Scrimbucks, and it's a 3v4 here on the objective, favoring the attacking team, and Dankquility looking to push this thing home with the overtime Wicca Burden. Sibzor goes down, but Frenchie manages to kill onto the opposing Moira. Immortality Field out on the side of the defense, and the Wrecking Ball has come in, but Wrecking Ball immediately sent right back into spawn. Jokabo's in there trying to make something happen. Proby 96 to Blizzard here at the tail end of this. If they get that Blizzard out and on, this thing could be over, and they need to get that 3rd point on the board. Here comes the Blizzard. Is there any defense? Molten Core coming out on the other side. Molten Core finds 1, but they do manage to freeze several within that Blizzard. But Hollow Earth and Evil staying alive. Hollow Earth emerging victorious, and the Wick will burn down. What a defense coming through at the back of Point C here by Valor.
Oh my gosh, so much happening right there in that engagement. The swaps coming out from both sides. You bring out the Wrecking Ball, you bring out the Reaper, you bring out the Torbjorn, everything clicking on both sides just throwing their entire heart into this match. We are so fueled by this right now. Now we got to see. Win condition set. 73.99 meters. I mean, they were like, what, 0.2 meters away from getting that all the way through?
Yeah, that was ridiculously close.
That was ridiculously close. So now, win conditions set for Valor Glory.
But
in this extremely, yeah, they're going to have to come out swinging.
Yeah, they're going to have to put up one heck of an attack, and we saw a monstrous defense out of Dankquility back on Volskaya. Can they do a repeat performance here on map 4 for the win?
I say yes. I think that Frenchie should possibly run the Moira here to keep the tanks up. I like the pick from Charismatic again on this Mercy. He has been the unsung hero so far tonight for his team, going between damage boosting and healing, popping Valkyrie when he really needs to, and putting out some really crazy reses so far tonight. So I really, really want to see what happens here. I got a request for a pause from Valor Glory. And so we are going to see what is up with that as we go, getting ready to go into the attack phase here for Valor Glory.
They still have a few minutes left in their pause timer. Of course, pause timers are cumulative here in the CGL multi-tier tournament. So 7 minutes total pause time that they are allotted, and they already had some of that deducted from the previous DC that we saw on Volskaya. So I'm not exactly sure what their timer currently sits at, but the clock is working against them here.
The clock is working against them. They still have about 6 minutes though.
Oh, plenty of time to work with.
Plenty of time to work with. I'm not sure what the reason for the pause is, but during this pause, we could kind of hit on something for next week. You and I were talking about it in between our matches tonight. The map or the week 5 bans and map pool.
There is a lot of interesting things coming week 5. Next week is going to be an interesting one, to say the least. It'll be exciting and just downright mind-blowing. Potentially, because we're going to have no Reinhardt, no McCree, no Widowmaker, and no Brigitte. So, interesting hero pool coming in, but we are going to get the addition of Echo. And
Echo will be available on Monday, and that is huge.
That is huge, especially considering that there's no Widowmaker and no McCree. I think going to be considered two of the hard counters against the new flying hero that's being introduced here. So this could be the week of Echo as we head into week number 5. What maps are we going to be seeing? You got them there in front of you, Billy?
I do. We've got Busan as our opening match or opening map. Then going into everybody's favorite map, Kings Row, followed up with Scrims Row, Anubis, Gibraltar, and should there be the need for it, the tiebreakers, Ilios. So I like the map pool this week. I'm excited to see what happens. So I do have the ready up from the other side. They got their party issues solved. That's what was going on, was a Xbox party issue. So we'll go ahead and get back in here and come to the conclusion of this very entertaining match between Valor Glory and Experienced Dankquility.
This is one last attack round to decide it. If XD can hold, this will be their first win here in the multi-tier tournament for this brand new team. Already putting up their first map win here of the season. Can they keep it up and get the goose egg out of that win column overall? Sibzor going down early, but Rez is there. You can see a lot of pressure coming up onto the high ground here from Valor. Hollowworth once again on the Junkrat, just laying down tons of grenades from atop of the 45-degree boxcar there. Looks like Dankquility forced back. Now Hollowworth comes up again with the second kill, getting the better end of the duel with the counterpart Junkrat. So that should be the signal to go here for the attacking team. They are still ready to do this unusual Reinhardt Winston combination on the front line, and it seems like they're taking their time trying to break it open. Winston moving up onto the high ground, trying to lay some cleave damage down into the support line, but he can't stay up there long. Assassin up there with the storm arrows, forcing him back, and then turns his attention down onto the DPS line, finds one onto the Mercy, finds a nice kill onto the May as well. In reverse order there, does eventually eat the mine from Sibzor and is sent back to spawn. But two great picks open things up here for Valor as they're looking to slowly push their way around this corner. Clothar coming up with the kill. Evil Senpai finding a pair, and that should be point A picked up here for Valor.
It should be, but you know as well as I do, the kiting doesn't necessarily be is not necessarily followed, and sometimes I say be damned with that. I'm going to go ahead and contest because I think that timing right here is the most important thing to this team. They've got to be able to whittle as much time off as they can.
They did a good job of resetting quickly and getting back on here, and we are going to get a test. Earthshatter coming out. Evil Senpai, the only one falling under that, and he's going to turn around and respond with a gravitic flux of his own. That finds 3, including the Brig and the Reinhardt. Winston drops as he had taken tons of damage from that flux. Dragon's now thrown into the mix as well. Assassin picking up yet another kill with his ultimate. Supercharger there to assist in that endeavor. So Winston does finally turn around and pick up the Archer in the back, but Hollowworth responds with a 2K tire, and that's going to be a point on the board here for Valor.
Yep, and I mean it cost them ultimates though. That's a win for XD right there because they got both DPS ults and gravitic flux out of them. So 2 support ults and nothing much else in the bank for them. The ultimate advantage right now is definitely in XD's side. They just have to decide where they're going to take this contest and start whittling time off the clock here.
Assassin with an early pick, once again taking down Sibzor. Sibzor has got to stay out of this LOS. Assassin right now just landing arrows true. May force off the high ground, forced to use that ice block, and that's going to give Hollowworth some room to work here as he's picking up the mantle here on the crosswalk. Now, Chocobone's diving into the back. He's going to go ahead and throw his Primal Rage into the mix as he just goes swinging into the bulk of Valor. So far, they're not quite able to pick him up. A lot of damage done to the Dankquility front line, and now Ant Matrix thrown down from Valor as well as they're looking to push this thing through. Scrimbucks finds himself a kill, but Sibzor picking up one of his own. 5v5 here on the objective. May taking a lot of damage. That's going to force out both Immortality and Ice Block. Now she's trying to throw up a defensive wall to keep everybody from assaulting in. It does look like Valor just kind of taking their time, backing up, perhaps waiting for their 6th man to get back into battle.
Yeah, and I mean, the patience that they're showing right now is huge. the small soft resets that they're doing is what's keeping them in this match right now. Sibzor up, there's a big tire coming out from them.
Yeah, Jokerbone's trying to go in and punish, and he just gets taken out as well. DPS line clean in house. And this is that split composition that we were talking about coming from Dankquility, and it's starting to show massive weaknesses. Jokerbone's diving in without much support, easily deleted, opens things up on the front line for Hollow Earth and the two main tanks from Valor to move in and easily clean house.
Yeah, and Sibzor is stuck out here in no man's land. He just needs to die. He's feeding ultimate charge to the team right now.
Yeah, as you said, he just hurls himself onto the objective. Die on point, I understand, but look at the ult bank here for the attacking team. Although, Dankquility coming up with quite a few of their own on the defense.
Yeah, they're coming up with some pretty big ones of their own. 3 minutes to get it about 60 meters. So I think you hold your cards close here.
Almost to the end.
Almost.
Not quite to the end, almost.
I think you pull the Bastion out here.
On the side of the defense, yeah, Sibzor definitely, that would be a killer move. I can't argue with that one in the slightest. Psychotic's going to go ahead and throw down a Shatter. That's going to find a couple. He does get one kill off of that. Primal Rage! Cleaning him up from there. You get 3 of the Winston glasses up in that top corner. Sibzor's going to go ahead and invest a late tire. May want that one back. But at the end of the day, Dankquility won in this fight handily.
And they used 3 ultimates there. They used the Shatter, they used the Primal Rage, and then the head scratcher of the tire. You already had 3 done. You didn't really need to invest it. You could have kept it for another engagement. But they do have 3 ultimates still online, and Sibzor's already halfway to another tire already.
They have to watch out for the Blizzard here on the side of the defense. Coalescence Supercharger to initiate here on the side of Valor as they try to push in. Monkey just waiting on them from above. They do force out the Valkyrie. Not sure how much value is going to get, Charismatics is going to get out of that, just kind of using it to survive. And it looks like the front line from Dankquility just offering up 0 resistance here. I don't see it. Jokerbone's diving in the back, trying to find some cleave, trying to find some damage, but there's nothing to block all of the incoming damage from the other side. Sibzor finding 2 big picks. Provi gets 1 with the Blizzard. And this has just turned into a very interesting fight here. Eventually, Dankquility will emerge victorious. But man, that one was a little weird. Still plenty of time for Valor to make something happen here, though.
Yeah, and Sibzor coming up on another tire. I think that this is good. I think that the tank ultimates is what's going to win this fight coming through. Clothar needs to get his next supercharger in his belt. Assassin swapping off of the Hanzo that he's been doing so well on, and has now swapped to the Reaper.
We also have a tire online here for the attacking team. Now one coming online for the defense. Sibzor's going to go ahead and throw that into the mix. Here it comes. Finds nothing but shielding Immortality Field there as well, as Jokerbone's throwing another Primal Rage into the mix. But Valor able to weather the angry storm, and now they respond with a tire of their own. This one much better, finding 2 kills in the name of Jokerbones, in the name of Charismatic. Mercy God, no more res, and that is going to be Valor's cue to push forward here with just 20 seconds on the clock. We are in final fight of the match. Whoever wins this fight will take the match. Hollow Earth coming up with 2 big picks, and it does look like Valor moving forward with a full head of steam. Res coming through. Somehow they're able to get that off, but probably not long for this world. Taken out about as quickly as that res came in. Psychotic coming through with a last-second Earth Shatter. Finds 1, but there's no one else to deny this point. And it will be Valor pushing it on into its final resting place, picking up the 2nd point and the victory here today.
Oh, as I said, in the end, the tank ultimates would be what won that match, and that was absolutely what happened there. The gravitic flux being thrown in there towards the end, getting people out of the way, allowing the DPS to move in. The swap for the assassin, swapping over to the Reaper, was what sealed the nail in the coffin for experienced Dankquility. But I have to give it to them; they fought their ass off tonight. They showed a lot of heart, even though it's an L in the column for them. They pick up their first map point tonight. That's huge for them. That's something you can build on. 2, you took a pretty good team to the absolute wire, and I got to throw it out for them. But Valor Glory coming out on top. Big big plays at the very end. That's what these teams do. They clutch out, and that is what happened. Hollow Earth getting a ton of kills there in the end. He's my MVP for the match, not only for the last junk standing or the last rat standing on Volskaya, but the tires and the exit kills and the final kills there at the end of Route 66 to secure the win for his team. 2-0-1.
Yeah. Well, if it
or
wasn't for
2-1-1.
Hollow on the
2-1-1.
junk rat, this match goes the other way, period.
Yep.
Valor was right there knocking on the door of getting Volskaya. I mean, they were kicking that door. They had a battering ram there. It was cracked and splintered and hanging on by just a thread. And Hollow was the name of that thread, and it held. And that allowed them to move forward, pick up the W there on Route 66. Hollow Earth, definitely your player of the match. I can't argue with that one. In the slightest, MVP, well-deserved.
Yeah, absolutely. And, and I only think back to not Volskaya because that's where the tanks made the switch. I think that had experienced Dankquility run either the Rhine Orisa or something else, some other configuration of the double shield on Numbani.
Yes, sir.
I think we're going to a map 5.
Yes, sir.
I think we're going to a map 5 because I think they would have been able to hold a lot better there during the streets phase.
Or this is a 2-1-0.
Oh yeah,
2-1-1 rather. It would have been a 2-1-1 if they had won Numbani. Either way, I agree with your sentiment 100%. Swap on Numbani could have been the difference maker. Sticking with that hog, can't help but feel that was a little stubborn. But I mean, also taking 0 away from Valor, coming up with a great performance. Tank line showing up. DPS, most importantly, leading the charge there for Valor Glory. Well, I think that's going to bring our production to a close here today. It's been a fantastic day of matches. Thank you so much at home for joining us, for hanging out with us. Big support coming through. Figgy Smalls with a 17 gifted subs. We had Angry coming through, LJ White coming through with a gifted in that as well. Really, really appreciate the support. Just absolutely huge, overwhelming amount of support from this community. We love y'all so very much. We do this for you guys. So many good stories here to tell, and we just want to tell them all. So thank you so much for the encouragement and support. It means the world.